Shabbat Shalom, friends. If you are in the foyer, come on in. Can you hear it now? No. Jacob? Shabbat Shalom, friends. If you're in the foyer, please come have a seat. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
We're almost there. Shabbat Shalom. We are so close. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. See, now I can be quiet. All right. Annika, it's all you.
How sweet it is to be together on this day. Hine matov u'manayim shebe'achim gam yachad. Hine matov u'manayim shebe'achim gam yachad. Shalom Aleichem. Salam alaikum, shalom alaikum, salam alaikum, shalom alaikum, salam alaikum, shalom alaikum, salam alaikum. Hinei matov u'manayim shebe'achim gam yachad. Hinei matov u'manayim shebe'achim gam yachad.
Shabbat Shalom. How good it is to be together to celebrate Shabbat. Thank you, Kolo Kolami, for that incredible beginning of Shabbat service. We always begin our Shabbat service with an intention, with a setting of experience. And so I want to start the way we always start, even though this is such a special occasion. And so I ask you to take a deep breath in. Hold it for a moment. Let your shoulders relax. Let go of the stress of the day, that awful weather. It's really awful. Let it go and release. Take another breath in. Hold it for another second. Let your shoulders relax just a little bit more. Feel the energy shift. Lean into our sacred space, our sacred time together. And release your breath. And with this last breath, breathe in the connection, the beauty, the gift of Shabbat. Take a deep breath in, all the way deep into your belly, and release. Our energy has shifted. Our time together is ready, as you can tell. And here we are. I am already in deep gratitude for you to be here, for our music, and for Dan. We're going to hear a lot about Dan tonight. I'm going to start with some of the story. Dan, you know, the weather's not great, and Dan's luggage is not here. But Dan is here. So we thank you, Dan, for being here, and we will find your luggage maybe by Sunday. We continue with lighting our Shabbat candles. It is really an honor for me. I'm going to wait and try to cry later to have my family come forward to kindle the Shabbat lights. So I invite forward Isaac and Charlie and Sid and Carol and Hillary. You can all figure out the relationships later. We turn to page 3. It has been our tradition to also invite the community to light Shabbat candles if it is your custom. You may notice they're not in the front, they are way in the back. That should not make you pause. If you would like to light a Shabbat candle, please go ahead to the back and join us in doing so. Page 3. You need a microphone here.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us.
As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner Shel Shabbat.
The heaven and the earth were finished, and all their array. On the seventh day, God finished the work that God had been doing, and God ceased on the seventh day from all the work that God had done. Oh, sorry.
And God blessed the seventh day and declared it holy, because on it God ceased from all the work of creation that God had done.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shavat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron lema'aseh bereshit ki hu yom techila lemikra kodesh zecher litziat Mitzrayim ki banu v'acharta ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodecha be'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat Amen.
Typically, we have prayer books. This evening, we have a great, big, bright screen. Oh, I forgot. I forgot introductions. Lori, come on up here. Yes. Sorry.
It's like reading Torah and Linda Wolf. For those of you who are here at the women's service, you'll know what I mean, but that's okay. I'll get my turn later. Shabbat Shalom, and welcome to our guests and to our congregants. Thank you for making time and making this a purposeful evening. There's a lot of gratitude that we have towards the rabbi and sharing that with us. This is also a part of our 75th celebration, so you kind of get a dual celebration here this evening. And tonight we do begin recognizing Rabbi Vann and honoring her 13 years of service to suburban Temple-Kol, hence the bat mitzvah. But I also want to acknowledge COVID-19, which 3 years ago we should have been celebrating the rabbi's 10-year anniversary, but that's where we are today because of a small pandemic. So I also want to welcome Dan Nichols to Cleveland, and he had, well, I should say he almost wasn't here, but we'll probably go through that. But thank you for joining us this weekend. I know and I understand that as Jewish musicians go, you're on the top of Rabbi's list. So it means a lot for you to be here, and I know that we are in for a wonderful Shabbat experience with the music that, from what I sense, the two of you are going to be providing for us. And then tomorrow night, Dan is in concert across the hall in our social hall, and I hope that we'll see many of you there tomorrow night. And then on Sunday, we'll have a sing-along and a Jewish Pride program that Dan will also be a part of. But before we begin our service, I would like to also acknowledge some people here in our congregation that are with us tonight and who are not with us tonight. So I want to start by saying thank you to Ro Green, who is our honorary chairperson for the week. And at this point, I do need my glasses. I did go up until then. And then to Richard and David Nathanson, who were the co-chairs for the weekend, and to all of the volunteers who behind the scenes have made this weekend possible. And then to Sarah Stashauer and Mark Heller for co-chairing our 75th anniversary. I'd also like to welcome, and it seems to be pretty much all over here, this is the past president's corner, and I like the back, so maybe soon I'll be sitting over here. The past presidents who are with us this evening, your wisdom and your guidance still continues to guide us. I want to thank Tom Galvin, Jack Bylofsky Jr., Sarah Stashauer, Kim Rosner, and Richard Margolius for your continued commitment to suburban Temple-Kol. Finally, I would be remiss if I didn't give thanks and express my gratitude to the suburban Temple-Kol leadership and staff. Collectively, they are diligent in their work so that wherever we are, in our building, in someone's home, or somewhere across the city, we proudly call Suburban Temple our spiritual home. It's now my pleasure to welcome Rabbi Vann, our bat mitzvah celebrant, and traditionally, she says no pictures, but that the bar bat mitzvah student or gets to lead the service. So tonight, surprise, you get to lead the service.
I love it. Thank you, Lori. Thank you so much. You do. So you do not, back to where I was before, Lori, thank you, sorry. You do not have prayer books in your hands tonight. Everything you need is on the screen in your heart and in your soul. Tonight, I hope that you will engage deeply, connect deeply to the music, to the words, to the spirit of the service. We're going to begin with singing Lecha Dodi. Lecha Dodi is a song of welcome to Shabbat, welcoming the Sabbath bride, joining in. So I hope that you will enjoy and sink in to Shabbat.
Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, pnei Shabbat mekabela. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, pnei Shabbat mekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibor echad, yishmi'anu el hamiuchad. Adonai echad u'shmo echad, v'shemu tiferet v'litila. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, pnei Shabbat mekabela. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, pnei Shabbat mekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, ki hi mekor habracha, mirosh mikedem nesucha, sof maaseh b'machshava tchila. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, pnei Shabbat mekabela. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, pnei Shabbat mekabela. Hitoreri, hitoreri, ki va'orech kumi ori, uri uri shir daberi. כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, pnei Shabbat mekabela. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, pnei Shabbat mekabela. בואי בשלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצולה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, pnei Shabbat mekabela. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, pnei Shabbat mekabela.
Please rise in body or spirit.
Yai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai. Barechu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Yai lai 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 lai, yai lai
evening prayer, Ahavat Olam. The word Ahava means love, Olam means world, and so we thank God for God's everlasting love of the world.
Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Ahavta, Amchavta, Torah u'mitzvot, Chukim u'mishpatim, Otanu limadeta, Otanu limadeta. Al ken Adonai Eloheinu b'shochbenu uvkumenu nafsiach bechukecha, v'nismach b'divrei Toratecha, ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד. כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו, ובהם נגע יומם ולילה, נגע יומם ולילה. ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו וישראל, אוהב עמו ישראל.
On Sunday mornings, when our learning program is in session, many of us might be found to use ASL, to use sign language for the Shema. Shema, we say, "Hear, O Israel," but for those who can't hear, it doesn't really work so well. And so you might see us signing this, which means pay attention. It changes the Shema. So as you sing the Shema, we pay attention to the oneness, to the prayer, to the unity of God.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed.
Please be seated.
Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavcha uvechol nafshecha uvechol meotecha vehayu hadavarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shivtecha b'veitecha uvlechtecha v'derech uv'shachbecha uv'kumecha ukshartam leot al yadecha v'hayu latotafot bein einecha uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha leman tiskeru vasitem et kol mitzvotai v'yitem kedoshim lelohechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim lehiyot lachem lelohim Ani Adonai Elohechem.
As we prepare to sing Michamocha, the next slide will share this beautiful reading, not actually found in our usual Siddur, and I hope that we'll read this all together. At the shores of the Red Sea, Miriam took up her timbrel and sang her song, a song of praise to God. With confidence and love, she led our ancestors through their fear and hesitation until all hands were joined, all voices raised in hymn and thanksgiving. May her example lead us too. May her song become ours as well.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש. נורא תהילות אוסף אלה, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. מלכותך ראו בניך, בוקע ים לפני משה ומרים, זה אלינו ואמרו, זה אלינו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש. נורא תהילות אוסף אלה, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. A different type of prayer. Eternal One, help us remember that the jerk who cut us off in traffic last night is a single mother who worked 9 hours that day and was rushing home to cook dinner, help with the homework, do the laundry, and spend a few precious moments with her children. Help us to remember that the pierced, tattooed, disinterested young man who cannot make change correctly is a worried 19-year-old college student, balancing his apprehension over final exams with his fear of not getting his student loans for next semester. Remind us that the scary-looking bum begging for money in the same spot every day, who really ought to get a job, is a slave to addictions that we can only imagine in our worst nightmares. Help us to remember that the old couple walking annoyingly slow through the store aisles, blocking our shopping progress, are savoring this moment, knowing that based on the biopsy report she got back last week, this will be the last year they go shopping together. Eternal One, remind us each day that of all the gifts you give us, the greatest gift is love. It is not enough to share that love with those we hold dear. Open our hearts not just to those who are close to us, but to all humanity. Let us be slow to judgment and quick to forgiveness and patience and empathy and love. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu L'Shalom V'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Spread the shelter of your peace over us. Guide us in wisdom, compassion, and trust. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, v'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Save us for the sake of your name. Shield us from hatred, sorrow, and pain. Ashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, v'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim, l'chaim, l'chaim.
In a moment, we'll hear Dan share with us one of my favorite readings in Mishkan Tefillah. It is based on a quote from Abraham Joshua Heschel, which many of you now know is one of my favorite philosophers. Abraham Joshua Heschel teaches that nothing is more sacred than time, and Shabbat is our sacred time. The end of the reading, Jacob, if you could forward the slide, the end of the reading says, eternity utters a day. What does that mean for eternity to utter a day? Before there was anything, there was time. And what did God do first? God spoke time into being. And so we speak Shabbat into being. And so this is our meditation as we move into the highlight, the apex of our service, the Amidah.
A thought has blown the marketplace away. There is a song on the wind and joy in the trees. Shabbat has arrived in the world, scattering a song in the silence of the night, and eternity utters a day, and eternity utters a day. Yairaira, 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 yairaira. Try it. Yairaira, 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 yairaira. A thought has blown the marketplace away. There is a song on the wind and joy in the trees. Shabbat has arrived in the world, scattering a song in the silence of the night, and eternity utters a day, and eternity utters a day. rise however you're able. Hey, ay, 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 Adonai, Svatai, Svatai Tiftach, Ufi Yagitehi Latecha. Adonai, Svatai, Svatai Tiftach, Ufi Yagitehi Latecha.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu Elohei Abraham Elohei Yitzchak v'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel v'Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanorah El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim Ve'konei Hakol Ve'zocher Chasdei Avot Ve'imahot Umevi Gula Livnei V'neihem Laman Shemo Be'ahava Melech Ozer Umoshia Umagen Baruch atah Adonai Magen Avraham Ve'ezrat Sarah Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai Mechaye HaKol Atah Rav LaHoshia Mechalkel Chaim Bechesed Mechaye HaKol berachamim rabim Somech noflim verofech olim Umatir asurim Umekayem emunato Lishenei afar Michamocha bal gevurot Umido melach, melech meimit umechaye, umatzmiach Yeshua, v'ne'eman atah lahachayot hakol. Baruch atah Adonai, mechaye hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, ukdoshim b'chol yom yahalu chasela. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh.
Please be seated. Every Shabbat, we take time to think of those whom we love who are struggling, whether they are struggling with physical illness, emotional illness, mental health issues, or the difficulties of life. We take time to lift them up in prayer, knowing that our prayers, our hopes, give them the strength to go on maybe just a little bit more. Perhaps our prayers are not curative, but perhaps our prayers bring strength that is needed. And so as my hand passes over the congregation, I invite you to share aloud. You may all speak at once, but that doesn't matter. We know that our names are being raised up. To share aloud the names of loved ones on this Shabbat. And if you are at home, please share those names in the chat. Don't be afraid to speak up. We join all of the names that have been shared aloud with all of the names that reside in our heart, and we sing together.
Mi shebeirach avoteinu mekor habracha ve'imoteinu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mi shebeirach imoteinu mekor habracha lavoteinu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
We take a few moments for silent prayer and reflection.
Ever been so angry with someone that it just burned inside? You were so mad that you wanted to say the most hurtful things as a way to strike back for all the pain you felt, for the toxins spewed in your direction. Elohai Nitzor invites us to pump the brakes, to do a cheshbon hanefesh, a soulful intake that empowers us to cool down, to reflect on hurt feelings, and at our best, fashion a loving response that does not depend on harmful speech. This prayer asks God to help us find a more sacred pathway through conflict, a healing and hope-filled pathway, a pathway that will ultimately help us feel closer to God. Elohai Netzor Lishoni Mera. Elohai Netzor Lishoni Mera. Oh my God, watch over me. Take the hurt away from how I speak. Only love flows from you. May every word I speak be true. Elohai Netzor Lishoni Mera. Elohai Netzor Lishoni Meira. When words are thrown, I'll hold my tongue. and breathe the air of songs I've sung. That refrain I'll repeat. There's more to you than only me. Elohai Netzor Lishoni Mera. Elohai Netzor Lishoni Meira. Usfatai midaber mirma. ולמכה אלי נפשי תדום, ונפשי כעפר לכל תהיה. היי נאי נאי, היי נאי נאי נאי. היי נאי נאי. Hi na na na. Hi na na. Hi na na na. Hi na na. Hi na na na.
I think at this point I am supposed to ask Lori to come up.
Do you bar bat mitzvah students? No. Okay, well, we're going along with this. We're going along with it. Okay, all right.
I think you should do the microphone so the Zoom people can know what you're doing. I turned it on.
You turned it on? All right, well, isn't this something? It's something. Rabbi Vann, you and I have often talked about telling stories and the value of storytelling. We talk about working with the board, how to tell their stories, because the story is the best way to tell the why about why people should be paying attention to us. So you and I have stories. We have a lot of stories. There's the saga of getting to Israel. Not getting to Israel, then getting to Israel. There's the moment of awe when I tried on my talit in Tzfat. There was then my adult b'nai mitzvah. So we're kind of both having one of those. And then there's also the story on how we got here to this time and this place. But I have a story I want to share with you. It's a 13-year story. You might need to pull up a chair. No. Just kidding. I know I'm on the clock. When you arrived here 13 years ago, we were a congregation processing the grief of losing Rabbi Bram. We were grateful for the year Rabbi Stone served our congregation and helped us to get our feet back on the ground. Thanks. But there was still so much work to be done, to gather the pieces, to find a way to put them back together again, and make us different, make us stronger, and a more contemporary congregation. The Hanukkah menorah is a symbol of the light you've brought into our congregation, how you guided us through our healing, giving us light and space, helping us to figure out who we wanted to be. Today, we are a confident congregation, with a strong sense of self-identity. We remain true to our historical progressive values and ideals and continue to support our members' individual journey into Judaism and spirituality. There is creativity and innovation, and there is diversity in so many ways. Now I want to get back to the menorah story that I find so symbolic. Again, the candles on the menorah light our path, give us strength, encourage us, provide hope, and inspire teaching and learning, all of which are part of our vibrant Jewish community. At 4 p.m. on the day your gift arrived, I received the pictures of the menorah, our gift to you. Let me rephrase this. I received pictures of a broken glass menorah. Case in point. And it's Shabbat, so I'm not going to share the texts that went back and forth. Yeah. There are stories, right? Yeah. So we quickly realized that we had chosen too fragile of a gift and replaced it with one whose base was wider and whose trunk was stronger. As I thought about the pictures of the broken menorah and seeing the one that arrived yesterday, I felt our history. We were in pieces, and now we are strong. Your menorah was in pieces, and now it is stronger too. You want to switch?
Give him the broken one.
I don't know if you trust me with not breaking this again. Okay. As you light this menorah, remember that the work was complicated. The work did not go by quickly. And the work was holy and brought us through to today, and we are forever grateful. Mazel tov. Yeah, then I don't have to bring it.
Thank you. It's magnificent. Wow. I'm going to go put it on the table.
Oh, yeah, I don't want to touch it. I am not graceful. Okay, there you go.
Oh, now I have to talk. Now I have to talk. You know, we reconfigured the B'nai Mitzvah service for the kids so that I wouldn't talk after the parents. I wouldn't talk after the emotional part. And here I am, having created a service where I have to talk. Okay. I am so grateful for this evening, for this celebration. It's a celebration of me, but really, it's a celebration of you. You are who makes this congregation and community special. And you have helped me become the rabbi I am today. Thank you for supporting me, for being my guides and teachers for these 13 years. So you'll indulge me a few personal thank yous. It goes without saying that my family is my rock. To Charlie and Isaac, I love you. To Hillary and Dad and Carol, thank you for being the most important part of this journey. To the staff team, you are by far the finest staff team anywhere. Thank you for the hard work, the laughter, the flexibility, the creativity, and the love for this community. A special shout out to Brett and Rabbi Shauna. There are simply no words for who you are and what you bring to this community. Thank you. To the leadership of this congregation, thank you. Thank you for your dedication and love. To Lori Rosenberg, thank you for the day in and day out, for the slog that is being the president of a congregation. Thank you for your determination and your vision. Thank you to the chairs of this evening, to Ro Green, who could not be here, to Randy and David Nathanson. And now, to all of you. Tonight, I want to highlight one particular lesson that you, Suburban Temple-Kol, and me have taught me these 13 years. This lesson is the lesson I lean on and into every day, and it begins with a story. A long time ago, I've changed the story up a little bit, but you'll still get it. A long time ago, in a small village in the woods, there was a girl who was angry and frustrated with her family, with living in a tiny village in the middle of nowhere. So she decided to leave. She decided she was done. She was going to run away. So she threw everything she owned, which wasn't so much, into a small bag. She added a little food and threw it over her shoulder. She put on her coat, threw the bag over her shoulder, and started walking. She walked all day, stopping only to eat a little something. And when it grew dark, she stopped near a large tree. She sat down, took out a little bit more food, and rested against the tree. And she was quite tired after walking all day. She worried that she'd wake up and not know which direction to start walking in the morning. She thought to herself, what if I wake up confused about where I'm going? I definitely don't want to head home. Let me take off my shoes, and I will point the toes of the shoes in the right direction. So she took off her shoes, pointed them in the direction she wanted to go in the morning, covered herself up with her coat, leaned on the tree, and went to sleep. Well, as things go in these old stories, perhaps some mischievous passersby or maybe wood forest creatures came by and were playing, perhaps an angel. We'll never know. But somehow, while she was sleeping, the girl's shoes got turned around. When she woke up in the morning, she ate her last food, put her shoes on, and began walking. She walked in the direction the shoes were pointed, and she walked all day. And finally, she came upon a village in the woods. It looked like maybe it was her village, but it was different. It felt different. It was more colorful. It was more interesting. It was so clean and bright. Everyone was smiling, and it was just right. This folktale was inspired by a midrash by Rabbi Helbo, who taught, every day God creates a new set of angels who sing a brand new song of praise to God. Every day we wake up to a new adventure, new possibilities, and a new chance to connect to God. Suburban Temple-Kol, this is the gift you give to me. Every day is a new adventure. You have inspired me to solve problems creatively, to be fearlessly innovative, to see possibilities in everything, to find the silver lining, to turn my shoes around. Let me just give you 3 examples. For a congregation and a community to fearlessly embrace innovation is awe-inspiring. Friends, our tent is not just a learning program that we love, that brings joy, that works. It is one of a kind. I'll say it again. It is the only one like it. And my friends, not only are you learning in this program, you are our teachers. You are my teachers. You have turned my shoes around. Every Saturday morning for more than 20 years, Torah study gathers now on Zoom. We lean on ancient and modern rabbis and openly share our particular expertise and lenses. Together we discover surprising new perspectives, gather new insights. I am regularly amazed at how the verse of the morning will become deeply meaningful, relevant, through our robust and open conversation. Suburban Temple-Kol, may you turn my shoes around. My last example. Barriers are not impossibilities, but new challenges. When faced with a challenge, be it large or small, so often one might say, oh goodness, guess we're not going to do that. But the Suburban Temple-Kol way is, well, what if we try this? Or what's plan B, plan C, plan D, plan E? And we go with it. This is challenging, freeing, and extraordinary. Suburban Temple-Kol, you turn my shoes around. And thanks to you, I know I will continue to embrace new adventures, new possibilities, new perspectives, and that my rabbinate will always grow. And I am forever grateful. Thank you. We turn now to someone who has also helped me learn and grow and will help us learn and grow. Dan Nichols, who is going to provide for us a sermon and song. And Dan said that I could introduce him however I wanted.
I did.
So I waited until now to do the formal introduction.
All right.
Dan has formal vocal training from UNC Chapel Hill and has 13 albums with his band 18, has traveled extensively throughout the United States, 190 days on average throughout the year on the road, is internationally and nationally known as a Jewish musician. I know Dan from my days in San Antonio and my time as faculty at Goldman Union Camp Institute. Many musicians with Dan's stature might stand back and say, you know, my job here at Goldman Union Camp Institute is to be the musician. When Dan is at Goldman Union Camp Institute, his job is to be at camp. And whatever needs to be done is done. So Dan, you may not remember this, but I'm going to share one of my favorite memories of you at camp. It's probably about 8 or 9 years ago, opening day, pouring rain. And pouring rain, and you were given a golf cart. And you were so happy. You were probably in seventh heaven. And all you did all day in rain like this was take luggage down from the front gate to girls' camp, was then girls' camp and boys' camp, all day in the mud and the muck. And you sang for the entire day. And I'm not sure you remember that.
I don't remember that at all.
And I remember thinking, wow, I want that joy. You were in your happy place, and you were modeling for every single person at camp work and joy and community. And I was just in awe of what you bring to a congregation and a community and a place. And I'll never forget it. So that's the introduction that I want to share. And it's one of the reasons I wanted you to be here tonight, because we spent time trying to figure out how we were going to get the luggage down to the cabins in rain like today, and you figured it out. And that's the STKA way. When the menorah breaks, figure it out. When your luggage is somewhere else, come and smile. So Dan, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
We're excited to learn with you.
Thank you. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. A story, a true story. I'm in Detroit, Michigan a few months ago. I think it was the end of October. And somehow I had extra time. Bonus 15 minutes before service started. I could choose my own adventure. And I went, you know what? I'm going to hang out. This is a beautiful sanctuary. I'm going to hang out and just sit and look through their prayer book. Because at this synagogue, their prayer books, do we use Mishkan Tefillah here? Well, at this congregation, they don't use that. No offense to Mishkan Tefillah. They made their own prayer book. The senior rabbi at the time, Rabbi Daniel Schwartz of blessed memory, Rabbi Daniel said, yeah, that's a good prayer book, but we could do better. We can do what we need to do for ourselves. I know who we are, and we're going to make our own prayer book called The Fifth Direction. And I've never really seen it before. I'd seen it, but I never sat with it. I had extra time. I sat down on the chair and started flipping through the pages. I got to page 4. When I see this, right smack dab in the middle of the page, a quote that said, "Life itself cannot give us joy unless we will it. Life gives us time and space. It's up to us to fill it." And the credit given to the quote said, Midrash. Now, I don't know if you ever had the honor to know Rabbi Daniel Schwartz. If the lights go out, we'll have plan F. That's my plan. That's been my plan all day. It's working well. So I look at this and I go, you know what? This might be Midrash, but I also knew Rabbi Daniel Schwartz of blessed memory, and this sounds like a Danielism. This sounds like Rabbi Daniel Schwartz wrote this, but he wanted to be humble and not give himself credit for it. But boy, I like that quote. I looked at it and I just said to myself, I want to sing that. And so I grabbed my guitar and started singing. And I wanted to just dedicate this to all of us in the room. It's so easy. It is so easy to point at the things that annoy us, trouble us, worry us, scare us, and focus there. And while our feelings are not problems to be solved, the idea that on Shabbos we are given this gift, even a commandment in this moment, these 25 hours, to go and get joy for ourselves, to bring it into our lives. We are commanded in this time to find and bring joy into ourselves, into our homes, into the world. And I want to dedicate this to anybody in the sanctuary who's holding on to that stuff that doesn't make you feel so fresh. This is for you, and it's dedicated to the memory of Rabbi Daniel Schwartz. Life itself cannot give us joy unless we will it. Life gives us time and space. It's up to us to fill it. There's a time and place for everything. Will it be mine? Life itself cannot give us joy unless we will it. Life gives us time and space. It's up to us to fill it. There's a time and place for everything. Will it be mine? Life itself cannot give us joy unless we will it. Life gives us time and space. It's up to us to fill it. There's a time and place for everything. Let it be mine. A few years ago, I'm at a synagogue. We're in the rabbi's office. It's about to be service time. And the rabbi says to everybody in the office, listen, we got a lot going on in this service tonight. We've got birthday blessings. We've got two 50th anniversary blessings. It's consecration. We've got the Sisterhood Bake Sale needs to make an announcement. Oh, by the way, Dan, we have you as well. So we got a lot going on in the service. And I'm concerned that the service is going to go long. And if we run long, whatever that means, we'll just skip Aleinu. I did not think through my words when I blurted out, wait, you can do that. And he said yes. He said no one will notice. So the service happened. It was beautiful. The children were cute. The wedding couples 50 years into their situation were blessed. And we in fact did go long. And we in fact did skip, cut, go over, not do Aleinu L'Shabeach. I went to the Oneg. I drank the decaf coffee. I ate the lemon bar. I talked with people. Nobody said anything about, hey, did you notice we didn't do Aleinu L'Shabeach tonight? And it began a conversation with Cantor Ellen Dreskin, one of my dear friends and teachers. I adore this woman. One year, maybe next year, she'll come here and sing with you. You'll love her. She's a treat. Anyway, she and I were chatting, and I said, this happened. What in the world do you think's going on? Perhaps the thing that happens before in lots of Reformed congregations is we do Misha Berach, the prayer for the folks that we love, that we care about, who are hurting in physical ways, emotional ways, spiritual ways. We pray that, and it seems to tune the room when we do Misha Berach. The room, we're all kind of really together. It seems to really matter. And then after Aleinu, we have Kaddish Yatom, the prayer that we say for our beloved dead, where we acknowledge God's awesomeness. And no matter how awesome we try to praise God, we can't even come close, and still we're going to do it. That seems to matter. And maybe Aleinu L'Shabeach just kind of feels like, let's just get through this so we can get to the Oneg. That's what we're noticing. And Ellen said maybe it has to do with people's Jewish understanding of the Aleinu L'Shabeach, the liturgical end of it. There's some language in Aleinu L'Shabeach that even the Reform movement has pulled back on the reins a little bit from some of the chosenness language. There's some language in the Aleinu L'Shabeach, if you check it out, that does allude to the idea. The full Aleinu does, certainly, since the Reform movement's changed a little bit. But if you go deep into the full Aleinu L'Shabeach as it exists traditionally, there's some very specific language about how God made the Jewish people not only to be separate and chosen, but somehow implied as better than. And that's made some Jews really uncomfortable. Ellen Dreskin suggests that possibly this idea of chosenness doesn't have to be a negative at all. It could be a frame of reference of consider, if you will, God is parent, we are all the people on the planet, God's children. And I don't know, us parents in the room, have you ever looked at your child and said, I choose you to clean the bathrooms? And to the other child, I choose you to vacuum the shag carpet. Maybe chosenness means not better than, but what for? Chosen for a specific thing. That was Ellen Dreskin's approach to this idea of chosenness. Something to explore. When we think about Aleinu L'Shabeach coming to the end of our service, it is a call. Just at the beginning of the service, we have Baruch Hu, and it's a call to worship. How many of us have been in religious school and please rise for the call to worship? And up we go. Ya la 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 yay. That's a call, and that exists at the beginning of the service, and now we're at the end, we're coming to close the end of the service. And Aleinu L'Shabeach is a call. It's a call. Instead of to worship, it's a call to action. Aleinu L'Shabeach quite literally means it's on us. That while we've been doing this thing for the last half an hour, 3 hours, however long it's felt, this service we've been in, No offense, you know there are times when it feels that way. However long it's been, that during the service, somehow we have been changed for good, for a purpose, changed for a reason to go out into the world and partner with the Holy One in this incredible, miraculous creation we call life and existence. And Aleinu L'Shabbat serves liturgically to be that thing to remind us that in this time we've been together, let's remember it's on us to go out in the world and live this praise that we've been feeling, singing, talking, doing in this last period of time. So I want to share with you as we get ready, I think it's going to be our Aleinu L'Shabbat for the service, an English setting, a focus on this idea of it being on us, a call to action. And this is what we will use as our Aleinu L'Shabbat this evening. I look forward to talking to you at the Oneg, and I'm drinking decaf coffee with you. And please God, there will be a lemon bar, and we can chat about what does this mean to you? What does chosenness mean to you? What are we chosen for? What do you feel you're chosen for? Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Please rise for Aleinu L'Shabbat. It's up to us to call ourselves to task, to sing what's good and true, to bring about redemption. It's what we were free to do. For what's the point of being here if we're not moved to change our ways? Aleinu L'Shabbat. It's time to live our praise. We are carrying the stories of the ones who came before. What stories will be told of us when we are here no more? We commit ourselves to action. It brings meaning to our days. Aleinu L'Shabbat. It's time to live our praise. It's up to us to own the vision. We are an answer to a call. It's up to us to live the words we speak for the benefit of all. It's up to us to bow down deeply. There's a broken world to raise. Aleinu L'Shabbat. It's time to live our praise. Aleinu L'Shabbat. It's time to live our praise.
I've managed to lose a microphone. Please be seated. There it is. Dan, thank you. We turn now in our service to our time of remembering. This Shabbat, we remember those taken most recently from our temple family. We remember Robert Buzz Rosenfeld, Phyllis Faye Goodman, Bernice Derrico, Eleanor Rissman. We remember Francis Eisner Barjansky, Robert A. Bernstein, Herbert Lederer Cohn, Hattie K. Davis, Stanley F. Feldman, Henrietta K. Friedman, Harry G. First, Heinrich Albert Gessen-Hughes, Nancy Grunzweig, Samuel Grunzweig, Eva Clara Gupp, Irene Koblitz Jacobs, Charles H. Joseph Sr., Norman D. Carmel, Shirley Katcher, Edward Katz, Samuel S. Kaufman, Eugene M. Klein, Catherine Marks Kornhauser, Rose Kossoff, Sarah Roseman Lakritz, Mark Larange, Lillian M. Larange, Clara Lefkowitz, Louise Stoddard Miltziner, Harry New Sr., Lillian Queen, Marion Stoddard Reed, Herman Samuel Resnick, Ida Ross, Fern Gross Siegel, Minna Silverman Siegel, Magdalena Stinescu, Benjamin Weiss. Our griefs and sympathies are mingled as we turn to our mourner's meditation. When I die, give what's left of me away to children and old men that wait to die. And if you need to cry, cry for your brother walking the street beside you. And when you need me, put your arms around anyone and give them what you need to give me. I want to leave you something better than words or sounds. Look for me in the people I've known or loved. And if you cannot give me away, at least let me live in your eyes and not your mind. You can love me best by letting hands touch hands, by letting bodies touch bodies, and by letting go of children that need to be free. Love doesn't die, people do. So when all that's left of me is love, give me away. We rise as able for the Mourner's Kaddish. Yit Gadal, V'yit Kadash, Shemei Rabbah, B'alma Divra Hirute, V'amlich Malchute, B'chaye Echon of Yom Echon, Uvchaye Dechol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala of Izman Kari, V'imru, Amen. Yehe Shmei Rabbah Mevorach Leolam Almei Almaya. Yit Barak V'yit Shabach V'yit Pa'ar V'yit Romam V'yit Naseh V'yit Hadar V'yit Haleh V'yit Halal Shemei Dekudesha Barichu Le'elam Min Kol Birchata V'shirata Tushbachata V'nechemata Da'amiran B'alma V'imru Amen. Yehe Shlama Rabbah Min Shemaya V'chaim Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael V'imru Amen. Osei Shalom Bimromav, Huya Asei Shalom, Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael, V'imru. Amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and give comfort to all who are bereaved. And let us say together, Amen. Please be seated. At this time, I'd like to ask Kolot Kolami to come forward and take their places as I just share with you a little bit of logistics. Immediately following our service, we will have the blessing for we will say motzi, and there will be a place for kiddush and challah. If you have made reservations for dinner, the tables will be right there when you leave. Please find your way to a table immediately. It is open seating, and then the caterer will we will have some words of greeting, and then the caterer will let us know when we can eat. Immediately after I'm going to go back to our closing song. Immediately after our closing song, we will, of course, have our wonderful benediction. Kolo Kolami, it's all you.
Shalom.
Please rise. May God bless you and keep you. May the light of God's presence shine upon each of us and be gracious to us. May the light of God lift each one of us, and may God bring us shalom, blessing, and peace. Amen. Shabbat shalom.
Shalom, everybody.